A-flat major chord. Run it again?
Sure. Run it again.
Run it again?
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to ask you a bit of an unfair question, but does everybody understand in here there's nothing that I'm ever going to discuss with the person on the podium that I don't mean to be discussing with everybody in the room? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing any one of you are going to have happening up on the podium that isn't really good idea for all of us to be reviewing and considering personal. And I mean me, as well as the grads, as well as all of you, right? The only difference between you guys and the grads is that they've been at it longer than you, and the grads and me is that I've been at it longer than them. Okay, we're all still working on the same issues, a lot of times specifically the same issues, all right? Here's a big one. What's your left hand saying in any of that excerpt?
Not much.
Well, it's saying a ton, actually.
Okay.
Anybody want to pick up on that? What is Eric's left hand? I don't agree with him that it's saying not much.
Nothing useful, maybe?
Well, that's just sort of self-deprecating now. So, I mean, nobody? Don't remember? Amy? You watch what he did?
Well, I need to see it again.
Okay. Do you remember what you did?
Just kind of like stayed there and did this.
Do it again. Let's see. And you know, don't try to ferret it out right now. There's no right or wrong here necessarily. So don't, you know, rack your brain to think, what did I do, and do something different right now. Just try to relax and do what comes naturally and do what you did last time. By about the second half of the third bar, you got out of your own head a little bit, and I don't blame you. I mean, it's how hard is that to not then go back and sort of stress about what your left hand was doing. But by the end, it got closer, and the time before when you watch your video, you'll see that it was more frequent. The reason I said I didn't agree that the left hand was doing not much was that the left hand was absolutely mirroring the right hand entirely the time before. I mean, it was like, okay? And again, I prefaced it with this is a talk for all of us kind of talk, because everybody struggles with this. I was a little taken aback by one of the folks that came in to teach the conducting classes. They said that they teach that their students should never, ever, ever mirror, ever, except for the 0.01% of the time when there's just some gigantic thing that has to be mirrored. And I find that to be very, very extreme, actually. Upon further discussing it with the individual, I don't think he actually really meant that. But he was trying, the notion of it is a good one. Everybody mirrors, and it's useful. It's all right. But as soon as you find out you're doing it all the time, just like anything, you know, eating ice cream is great. You eat ice cream all day, every day, it's not great, not at all. So you just can't do those kinds of things all the time. The very broad question, you guys, is come to the preparatory position, would you, Eric? All right, just give him the first 2 notes. Okay, all right. You see what he did there too, Amy? Right, what you and I are talking about. Right, what you and I are working on. Now do it again, would you please? Now that left hand, turn it over just a touch, right? Dr. Thompson at Northwestern says she likes to think, if nothing else, if I've got nothing more profound to think about the left hand than this, I'm still okay. Think please with the left hand. Musicians are going to put some music in that left hand. It's the hand of friendship out there in the quad, right? Yeah, if nothing else, there it is. Now, I want you, bring your tip up a touch. There we are. See that, Matt? That's what you and I were working on. Now he's got room that he can move that tip down to his horizontal plane, and he can return. What you just did there, Eric, is what I want you to do this next time when they play. You didn't include the left hand in that preparatory gesture that time. You said, here we are, please, and you used the tip of the baton for what the tip of the baton is for. Anybody think that was less clear than when you used both arms? Right. I bet there's some folks that might say, I think it's kind of a push. The other one wasn't terrible either. But I've never had anybody tell me that this is less clear than this. I think you can make a real case that this is less clear. Because just look at this. Even without a stick, is my left palm and the tip of my finger reaching some imaginary horizontal plane at the same time? Absolutely not. There's no way that this can actually happen. So, we go like so, we use one gesture. Now, everybody else notice the last little thing that Eric did, Amy, what was it?
He was up on his toes.
Oh, no. I don't know. Were you up on your toes? What I meant, Amy, that we're dealing with is everybody look at me. Eric did the old faithful. The old faithful. Ready, everybody? Hello. Goodbye. And if this isn't the quintessential evidence of how that is nothing more than some kind of a little bit of an insecurity, self-defense mechanism, what are you looking at?
I hear nothing.
Nothing. Neither is anybody else that's dropping a baton on the first beat of any symphony in the history of mankind. But we look down for some reason. Like you just wrote this thing, and you still look down as if somehow there was some score you needed to read. There's no score you need to read. Right? So we all, as soon as we can, build against this habit and memorize the first couple of beats. You know, for a little while, this is what I meant with Amy, because I challenged her at last week's U-band rehearsal to pick a person or a two or a space in the rehearsal room to just train your eyes. If you're going to start something, if nothing more profound perhaps at the beginning than just picking an instrument, a percussion section, to keep looking at it while you prepare and then go. Because the players want you to kind of hang around. As soon as you look down and start seeing the top of your head, it starts to feel like you're in one room and they're in another. And as soon as that happens, then now we don't have a chamber music experience. Now we're not really communicating with each other. Thank you, sir. Matthew?